Tottenham are set to appoint Paulo Fonseca as their new manager this week. Here we go soon. And that is according to Fabrizio Romano. The man himself has very, very nearly put those very, very important words on this deal. Paulo Fonseca is going to be the new manager of Spurs. We'll run through that tweet, what he's had to say, and the reaction as well to this, as Spurs fans continue to kind of be split on whether or not this is a good appointment for the club. But before we do get into that, will just be a very quick update tonight. But please, if you do want more videos like these, talking all about Paulo Fonseca, and a very big video coming up on Fabio Paratici tomorrow, or if this is announced tomorrow, in the next few days, plus the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series coming back in full flow this summer. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and we're going to dive straight into things. Romano tweeted about 11 minutes ago. He said, Tottenham are set to appoint Paulo Fonseca as new manager, confirmed. Final details to be completed soon. Then he will be officially announced as Spurs head coach this week. Fabio Paratici contacted Fonseca after Conte talks collapsed. Here we go soon. So Daniel Levy, Fabio Paratici, whoever you want to say, got this deal done very quickly after the Antonio Conte talks collapsed a little over a week ago on the Friday. And it is basically confirmed. I mean, Fabrizio Romano saying here we go is the next best thing after official confirmation from the club. Now look, Daniel Levy told us not to believe the media. He told us not to believe what is said until it's heard, until it comes from the club. So do be careful. You don't want Daniel Levy being annoyed with you. But yeah, that is what has been said by Fabrizio Romano. People on Twitter, I think, sharing a lot of frustrations, as I know a lot of people who've been in my chat in the last week or so are. Why Fonseca? He's not a big name manager. He's not someone who has Premier League experience. He doesn't really fit the bill of who we were hoping to have as a manager, and who we were hoping to see as a manager when we were getting these links with the likes of Mauricio Pochettino and Antonio Conte. And I completely understand that. I completely do agree that there are much better ways that Spurs could have gone down with this one. Shauna with the £5 super chat. Shauna, thank you very, very much for that. Really appreciate it. Says, hey, just had to come over and say big up. Great work as always. Thank you very much for that, Shauna. Always appreciate your kind words and your support on the channel. We got Kai Karem, Aman, Dara says, Arteta versus Fonseca, battle of the banter. Look, Dara, the North London derbies next season are going to be a bit different. Thanks for tuning in. Bradley says, we need this to be the right decision. We cannot afford another manager to be sacked. It's now or never. And look, I think to some extent this is an appointment of convenience for Spurs and for Daniel Levy, for Fabio Paratici, whoever you want to give credit to or blame, whatever side you're on the fence for this appointment. I do think it's very interesting that two of the reasons why Antonio Conte had not said yes to Spurs, one was the wage discrepancies. He was being offered somewhere between 15 and 20 million pounds, and there was a discrepancy there of 3 million. Now all of a sudden we're bringing in Paulo Fonseca, whose wages are lower than that discrepancy. So Fonseca is going to be on about 2.5 million a year, which is absolutely tiny numbers for a manager at a club of our stature. And the other bit that's very interesting to me is there was a big deal made about Antonio Conte and his backroom staff not being able to come over from Inter Milan. Yet now with Paulo Fonseca, it's so convenient that he doesn't want his backroom staff from Roma to come with him because of the number of injuries they experienced last season. And now the likes of Ledley King and Ryan Mason will continue on in that backroom staff. So very convenient for Spurs, it does have to be said. But again, I'm not completely against this appointment. I would have preferred something a lot better. But I think if we are going to be taking a risk, this isn't a particularly bad one to take, because there are worse routes we could have gone. I mean, we were talking a few weeks back about Scott Parker. Even in the last week or so, Rafa Benitez was being mentioned by a lot. I think there are worse ways we could have gone down with this, but it's still not that big name appointment. It's not the marquee one that we really wanted, and this needs to work out for Daniel Levy. This absolutely needs to work out, because I even said it when I thought we were going to get Antonio Conte. He can't promise us so much through, and he didn't promise it directly, but through these reports that were leaked to the media and these rumours that we were getting, those start with the club. 99% of those, 100% of the reliable ones start with the club, or with someone on Conte's side or whatever. We can't be promised that indirectly and not be given something like that, because if we are, a lot more people will begin to turn on Daniel Levy, and I think that has been the case in the last couple of days especially. But it is going to be Paulo Fonseca, and like I said, it's on the better end of the bad type of manager we could have gone for, if that does make any sense to anybody. Having looked into him a bit more in terms of tactics and philosophies and exactly where he's come from, I feel a lot better than I did when I first saw these things, when Gianluca Di Marzio said it last Thursday, that this is advancing really, really quickly. And I'm hopeful. I think the best way to put it is I'm I'm kind of hoping for the best and fearing not so much the worst, but fearing a lot of things that could go wrong here because he doesn't have Premier League experience. He hasn't had the best time at Roma, a fantastic club, a very, very successful club in the past over there. He's leading them to 7th, has conceded over 100 goals in the last 2 seasons combined, defensively really poor. And as Martin says there, he's the best of a bad bunch. I do think that is the case. And look, Martin will, of course, remember United playing Roma in the Europa League. In that second leg, Roma looked very, very dangerous. Despite their big defeat in the first leg, for a while it looked as though they could give Manchester United a run for their money, and you have to give credit to Paulo Fonseca for that. One thing I do think has been overlooked is that he was missing one of his best players for a lot of the last 2 years in Nicolo Zaniolo, who suffered some very bad injuries. So when someone like that, the core of that Roma team, when that is taken away from you, you're going to struggle. It wouldn't be the same as us losing Harry Kane, because I don't think Zaniolo is that important to them. But if we lost the Højbjerg, or if we lost an Ndombele when he was on form, it is a massive loss, and you're always going to feel the wrath of that. Connor Hughes, I could see you in here. Connor says, do you think Paulo will unlock Dele's potential? I would hope that he does, because again, I love Dele Alli, and I really, really hope it works out for my Spurs. I don't necessarily think it will, and I don't think Fonseca is exactly the manager to make that happen. I mean, I've spoken a lot about the kind of role that Jordan Veretout plays in that Roma team, where he's that left-sided midfielder who makes those late runs into the box and is just an extremely attacking midfielder when they're on the front foot. I think Dele could fit into that role, but you also have to remember a big part of Veretout's role as well is dropping deep, almost becoming that third centre-back, allowing the left-sided centre-back to push on. Dele Alli wouldn't really fit into that. So if it is going to be a 3-4-3 that he's playing at Spurs, I would fear for Dele Alli. Now, Cody Mack actually made a good point a while ago saying, he may have just used that system at Roma out of necessity, because he started more with a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2, especially during his time at Shakhtar Donetsk, which worked to great success there, winning 7 trophies in 3 years at Shakhtar. Came into Roma, played a similar formation, but at the start of this season, kind of changed to that 3-4-3 out of necessity. But it's worked very well for him. It's worked extremely well for him, and that is what I think he may try and carry over to Spurs. When you're looking at the quality of wing back that we have, especially on the left hand side with Sergio Reguilon, we're looking to bring in someone on the right hand side. But reports today suggesting Serge Aurier is very nearly a PSG player. So that is one thing that we do need to think of. We need at least 2 centre backs. I would argue we need 3 if we're going to play that style. It's very possession based at the back. We need ball playing centre backs. Alderweireld, let's say, is the only one, but then questions of his pace and his basically every other part of his game as he does begin to age, I think is a big concern there as well. We're being linked with Gianluca Mancini, who's a big part of that Roma side. I'd love to see him come in. Leonardo Spinazzola, who's the man of the match in the opening game in the Euros, and Lorenzo Pellegrini, other players that we're thinking could follow Fonseca to Spurs. But on the flip side, who's the manager of Roma that will have to allow them to leave? It is, of course, Jose Mourinho, so things would be very, very difficult to convince him to let them go to a team that could be his Europa Conference League rivals as well. But look, it's not the best appointment, but I feel like we all need to get behind the manager. We need to back what he is doing. He's not our first choice. He's not our second choice. From what we've heard, he's not even the club's first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice. The Daily Mail said he's the 6th choice. I'm not going to take that as gospel. I'm going to take that with a very, very large pinch of salt. But regardless of what choice he was, regardless of the reasons he's come in, regardless of his past and all that, at the end of the day, he's very, very close to being the new Spurs manager. We need to back the manager, because I said this about Jose a lot of the way through as well. What the manager wants is exactly what we want, and it's for the team to be successful in the best way possible. It's to go out and play the best football, be the best team, and win things the Tottenham way. That's what we want, and with Paulo Fonseca taking this job, that's what he wants as well. So we need to get get behind him. We need to back him. If we're writing him off before he's even started, well, then that's going to make his job 100 times more difficult, because the fans are now going to be back in the ground. Scott's the word there in the chat from Scott and Aaron is underwhelmed, and I'm extremely underwhelmed. I'm absolutely underwhelmed, and disappointment is that, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work. The Pochettino appointment 7 years ago was underwhelming. He wasn't our first choice. We wanted Louis van Gaal, and look how that turned out. So we can predict and we can assume and we can guess what is going to happen, but we don't know what's going to happen, and we just need to get behind him. We need to get behind Fonseca, get behind Paratici, get behind this team, and hope that it works out well for Spurs. It may not. I mean, a lot of fans are already resigned to the fact that it won't, but the potential is there for this to be a good hire, and like I said, we need to hope that it is. And like I said, it is just a short update tonight, bringing in that news from Fabrizio Romano. Just to read his tweet to you again, he said Tottenham are set to appoint Paulo Fonseca as new manager confirmed. Final details to be completed soon. Then he will be officially announced as new Spurs head coach this week. Fabio Paratici contacted Fonseca after Conte talks collapsed. Here we go soon. So that is it. Fabrizio Romano very nearly giving us the here we go. He's just teasing us with it at this stage. But Paulo Fonseca is set to be the new manager of Spurs. Before we do wrap up, I do want to quickly just speak about what happened yesterday, as I'm sure everybody knows already. But the shocking scenes in Copenhagen when Christian Eriksen collapsed during the Euro 2020 game, and it's one of those moments that, you know, words can't really describe what it is. And look, I know it's a lot worse for, of course it's a lot worse for his family, the players that were there, and everybody who's a lot closer to him. And my thoughts go out to Eriksen and to everybody who's involved in that, his family, and the Danish players who had to see one of their friends go through that as well. There is a quote from Christian Eriksen. He's speaking to Gazzetta dello Sport today. He said, "Thank you, I won't give up. I feel better now, but I want to understand what's happened. I want to say thank you all for what you did for me." So good to see Eriksen already speaking out about what happened. But it really was a terrifying moment. And I remember watching the FA Cup game against Bolton in 2011, 2012, whenever it was, when Fabrice Muamba, of course, collapsed on the pitch at White Hart Lane. And I was too young at the time to understand what was happening and what was going on and all that. But of course, I was fully aware of the scenes that we saw yesterday. And when it's one of your favorite players, and one of those players who really made me fall in love with Spurs, and I've said it so much about it was that Pochettino team, and you know, that kind of period from 2015 to early 2018 where I really did fall in love with this club. And Christian Eriksen was such a core part of that team, such an outstandingly talented footballer. I did love him, and it didn't end well with the way he left the club, but that does not matter one bit. It really does not matter. Once you're Spurs, you're always Spurs. And I'm just so glad it's ended well for Christian Eriksen, and that he to the quick reactions from Simon Kjær and the medical team and everybody who's helped him pull through. It's great to see that he's coming out the other side of this one again, saying that he feels better, which is the only thing that matters right now. So again, thoughts and prayers go out to Eriksen, his family, his friends, and the Danish team, and of course thanks to everyone who essentially saved his life. Very sad scenes, but thankfully we're seeing the better side of it as we do come to an end. And as Niall says, thoughts with Eriksen, get well soon, we love you. And he's getting well soon, which is a good thing to see. But look, we are going to wrap it up there. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I know it's only a quick update tonight at 12:05 on a Sunday night, Monday morning. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. Hopefully we're happy with the Fonseca appointment, or at least somewhat optimistic that it can work out for Spurs. But as always, please make sure to hit that like button. We're on 44 with 160 people watching. Let's get that up to 100 as quickly as we can, and do make sure to subscribe as well if you are new for more on the manager and Fabio Paratici as the week goes on, and then the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series that will be coming back in full flow this summer as well. So again, to everyone who's tuned in, as always, thanks for watching.